CFG Game Cast, episode number 153, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Fridays, and we're releasing on all podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love, give us a follow, a like, a comment, what have you on any podcast service, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
Well, boys, I started streaming again. I know. Guys,
Good.
You're cheering way too loud. Calm down. No, I started streaming again. I played some Labyrinthine on Tuesday. And then Mondays and Wednesdays were always kind of like my solo dolo nights. Mm-hmm. And so I played the end of Stray, which was delightful. Made me cry. Thanks, you developers out there with the kitty cats. Didn't make me just cry once, not twice, but 3 times. Yeah. And I don't cry a lot. So, well, that's not true as of late. But you know what I'm saying. Shut up, Davis. Anywho, afterwards, I was like, Faith isn't out yet. It comes out Friday. So what am I going to play? And I remembered that the 6-year-old was playing Poppy's Playtime, like chapter 1. She wanted to play chapter 2. And at the time, I was like, I'm not paying $9.99 for you to spoil this chapter for me. And so I bought it, downloaded it real quick, and I thought, oh, this will be a quick thing. I ended up streaming for like almost 10 hours. In total, because that chapter was very long. I appreciated it. It was worth the money. And it was great. And Opie got a dose of realness because I don't get spooked a lot anymore. I can see things coming, you know. I'm a connoisseur of the spooky ookies, and it got me a lot. And so, you know, Opie ran out of the room, told on me to Daddy Dust, and then she didn't really come back after that. So it was good. I do have that clip, don't worry. And yeah, it was pretty good. You just see Opie panic, and then she came in to watch her own clip at the end of stream. She was like, yep, that was me. I did that. So it was funny. She watched herself twice and then watched my camera once on the screen, and it was pretty adorable. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. Then last night, because we went to see Black Adam, it was good. It was good. I did have a seizure in the movie.
Adam out? I didn't even know Black Adam was out.
I wanted to see it in 4DX, but I guess they were all sold out. And then we went to my favorite theaters because they recline in the seats and stuff. But yeah, I definitely had a seizure during one of the major fight scenes. A lot of electricity. So, you know, a lot of flashing. And I think that got me. But I was also like sleep deprived. So that didn't help. But that was kind of my bad. But it was good.
I'm wanting to see it, but I don't know if I want to see it in the theater. You know, it's been really hard for me to go to a theater nowadays, though. So
I get it. You know what, though? When we saw Thor: Love and Thunder in 4DX, that kind of renewed my. I really enjoy going to the theater.
That was a lot of fun,
especially if I was giggling like an idiot. I thought we were gonna get kicked out for the first 20 minutes. You know, your chair is just doing this, and I'm like. In my chair like an asshole. So yeah, no, 4DX is great. It's like a kind of a roller coaster and a movie. What more could you want? But we were all sliding in our chairs, and then we'd have to pick ourselves back up. But yeah, Black Adam was good. I was sad that I missed a piece of it, but that's all right. That was my bad. So
that's cool. You know what, the one movie I'm wanting to see is I'll probably want to see in theaters is Wakanda Forever.
Oh, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, you know what? And then, you know, I did see that other one too with what's her name? The King. The
Woman King.
Yeah, that one was really tight too. I would say I did see that.
Yeah,
in theaters. So
there were several movies this year that I really wanted to see, and my movie partner kind of croaked on me. So, you know, that kind of sucked. But I really do enjoy it, especially 40X was so much fun. And I'm getting old and I fall asleep in theaters problem is solved when you see it in 40X because you can't really fall asleep because all of a sudden you get sprayed in the eyes and you're like, okay. Well, I'm sure the boys weren't getting sprayed in the eyes. I'm just short. So, you can turn that off, by the way. Learn that at the end of the movie.
That's part of the experience.
Yeah, but I was like, with my glasses, and then I had glasses on top of my glasses because, I don't wear contacts, so whatever. It was fun. Yeah.
But hey, Lex.
Yes.
Do you know who's actually rigorously training for his Rengoku techniques?
I do. His name is?
The 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. What's going on, my dude?
Oh, you know what it is. Chilling, man. It's been another busy week this week with work. I literally, since I've gotten back from TwitchCon, I have been working through the weekends for the last couple of weeks. This weekend is not going to be any different. But hopefully I'm able to catch up. I'm getting projects done. I've got stuff. I'm hopefully going to get a bunch caught up on that. But I have still, this has not deterred me from still getting some games in late at night. I've been playing a lot of, it's a game called Stranded Alien Dawn. It's like a simulation. It's almost like a 3D RimWorld, is what it's like. I love those games. Those are my secret, passions. It's playing those. So I've been playing that. And then, we played The Forest last night. And then of course I'm hopefully able to get this Ghostbusters working so we can get some Ghostbusters on tonight. And then whenever we finish with that, we'll probably hop over and do a little O-Dub 2 or something like that. But yeah, all in all, I'm just, my head is down. It's been grindy time, work-wise. And this is just that time of year where people are trying to get projects and things in before the holidays really set in and whatnot. So it gets busy and I just got to get through this point and then, should be good. So busy, but doing well. Plus, like I said, the little Az is she's walking now, so we're gonna go and look at daycare and get her into at least part-time daycare.
Well, so, if they kick her out, call me.
That's what I'm scared of because she absolutely hits people.
She does.
And I'm just yeah, I know. It's so crazy because Lizard Elsa was the sweetest. Like she had her moments and stuff, but she was sweet. She did not hit people. Az will hit you and look at you and be like, what you gonna do about it?
Exactly.
I'll slap you again. I'll sit there. I will scratch you. I will do all kinds. Like she does this stuff intentionally. That I'm nervous about. I can't have a punk kid get kicked out of daycare.
I was shocked. I fell asleep watching a movie with her on the couch, and I thought she was asleep because she was cuddling me. Like she had her little head on my stomach. I was like, so I took the phone and I turned the camera on and angled it down because I didn't want to move if she was asleep. And she looked up at me like, yes. I was like, oh, you're cuddling me?
Sounds like she's
are you gonna hit me next?
Yeah, it sounds like she's testing barriers or something. Oh my god.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If she tells you no.
I can imagine if you like Smitty goes to the daycare and talks to the teacher. He's like, hey, this is my daughter. This is Az. And then it's like, oh, but beware, she will hit you. Well, that's
she will get you can get kicked out of daycare. If they're not, if they can't, so it's a legitimate concern.
You don't.
Yeah, no.
And then you act really surprised when they're like, so I tried to feed her. She said she didn't want it. And then she smacked me in the face. And you have to go, oh, she did what? Oh my gosh. She's never done that before. That's what you have to pull.
Just straight. Yo, dude, look, man, I need them 3 days for work. Cause if you think about it, I get up early. I usually get up 8:30. And you guys know me, I stay up pretty late too. So it's absolutely terrible. I try to be better about it, but I'm not. And, I'll let her sleep in. I'll let her sleep till 11:30. Excuse me, sometimes noon. Cause that's the time where I get the most work done. Is that morning when she's sleeping. When she's up for at least another 3 hours. So I try to do a little bit of work, but especially the fact that it's just her and I, she wants some attention too. So I have to stop doing things, or she'll sit there and slap my computer or poke things and just do kid stuff. So, it's hard to get work, and then I'll get her down for a nap and do a little bit more work. But usually by then I'm tired. And before that, I was utilizing her nap time as my nap time. And I haven't even been able to do that. I did not, you guys would be proud of me. I did not take a nap. And and they're supposed to be streaming tonight too. I know. Wow. So I know. So
that's a lot, especially if it's just you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's just
that's a lot. I can understand the break. So no,
I hope Kat is not listening.
Yeah.
Because you just outed yourself. She was like, I think he lets her sleep in. I was like, does he? I don't know.
Oh yeah, she knows because she absolutely knows.
Like that.
I mean, it's what if I were to get her up early without it, then even still, she'd be she'd be up for 3 hours. I'd get her down, and she could sleep anywhere between 45 minutes to 3 hours. Who knows? And then I would work. It wouldn't be enough time for me to work and get work done.
No, I get it. Yeah. Because when I watched her, she mentioned that. I was like, does he?
Yeah.
And she was like, don't let her sleep past 10:30. I was like, got it, boss.
I appreciate you. Understood. I appreciate you because
I don't want to out you on that.
I push the limits.
Well, see, he has the pass because it's his kid. He can do whatever the hell he wants with his kid. So.
It's like, look, dude, and I'm the one that's working and taking care of her. So look, man, there's some concessions that need to be made.
Some caveats that need to be done. Exactly. But as for me, I mean, compared to that nightmare that you just described, I've been going through. I've been going through pretty well, man. So it's what's it called? So I went through a week away to basically be moving. And got my inspector showed all the minor stuff. Everything's good. Then I was like, oh, I need to buy a fridge and a washer and dryer. So I went to my friend told me, oh, you should go to this place called Nebraska Furniture Mart. It's a really cool place. It's very inexpensive. It's not that bad. So I was like, oh, okay, let me go. So, and you've been to a furniture store before, right? Like Ashley's Furniture or any of these other places. Even the worst case is IKEA. IKEA is a huge spot, but it was a little bit. This place is 5 times larger than IKEA. It is it is about the size of a freaking mall, and all it is appliance accessories and stuff. So when I go to a place this big, and I'm like, what the hell am I in? And then like I was surprised. Like literally, I opened the door, right? I opened the door, and the first thing you see is the police officer, the security guard, and stuff. And then I'm literally doing this like in amazement. I'm like,
yep.
Oh my God, where the fuck am I? Yeah, I'm just like, what is this? What is going on? So so then he's like, oh, hey, how you doing? So I find where I need to be, and then there's a guy who was like, hey, can I help you? Which is very rare because usually when I go to these big places, 9 times out of 10, no one serves me. So I was a little bit caught off guard, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. All I need is a fridge and a washer dryer. Help me. So he did. So I was like, no, this place, Nebraska Furniture Mart, huge spot, really good service, so really good prices, surprisingly. And I'm not getting paid for this, but it's like, so I definitely loved it. Definitely loved it. It was really cool. So it was a good experience though. So got that checked, and I'm good to go go with it. But thanks for the everyone likes the Nintendo 64 shirt, which is surprising. So thank you.
I know.
That shouldn't be surprising. Nintendo 64 was dope, dude.
No, I love it. No, I totally agree. I love Nintendo 64. I mean, I mean, it's the shit. It was the shit. So there you go. GoldenEye. Come on, guys. Everyone can't beat GoldenEye back in the day. Will I play it again nowadays? Hell no, because it's crazy. Yeah, but still. but anyways, I know we don't want to go through the normal rigmarole, the talking about how to raise Smitty's kids. So let's go to the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion from the previous week. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry. And we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the viewers and listeners, on twitch.tv/CFG Games to be a part of the conversation. So as always, if there's something that you wanted to chime in about on what we talk about, please type it inside the chat. We love to discuss it with everyone that's out there. We love an open conversation. It's fun, and it's always fun that way to include everyone to be a part of the discussion. So let's get into it. Whew, excuse me, man. Well, I am first. It's like
don't let us bore you, Davis.
It's like no. I wasn't yawning. I was about to burp, and I was like, don't burp. You know when you have those hidden burps that just kind of come out of nowhere?
Yep.
That's exactly what happened. I was like, no, I don't want to do it.
No, playing with if anyone ever plays with Dust and I, just free range burps.
Yeah.
Be warned. Sorry.
See them in real life at all. They will burp a lot.
They will definitely do that in real life. It's like that's their way to greet you. That's how they know they like you. All right. Well, first, I will start it off this week, and I wanted to talk about the crazy week that Bayonetta 3 has had, just a matter of 7 days, and it's actually. It was fun. It's insane on like how the ups and downs of this thing, of this whole situation happened. So, and it was actually kind of funny because I was talking about this earlier on my one of my streams earlier this week, and with someone, and but basically, here's the long story short of it. I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of it by now. So the original voice actor of Bayonetta, her name is Helena Taylor. She was the voice of Bayonetta since the original one, and all the other times, like even when she was in Smash Brothers, everything, 1 and 2, and so on and so forth. Every time when it was Bayonetta, it was her that was doing it. She posted on last weekend on Saturday that she she basically aired out some dirty laundry. At the time, she was claiming that that Platinum Games was only offering her $4,000 to reprise her role in Bayonetta 3. When she said that it was like the company made like over $400 million in the previous Bayonetta franchises and stuff, that it wasn't fair to her, and so she declined it. She declined doing it, but then she also asked her fans to boycott this game because of the payment disparity towards it. So excuse me. So this is the beginning. This is on Saturday. Now, I don't know if people, she also posted 4 different videos that day about this. So she was really upset about this. And I mean, and it's cool. Like it really did broke her heart to get away from the role that she has played ever since the beginning, and and stuff, which is understandable. At that point, you felt like you were Bayonetta, you know. But what was crazier is that she was also calling out her replacement, which was Jennifer Hale, was the replacement, was taking the place of Helena Taylor, that she was going to be the new Bayonetta, since Helena Taylor was not chosen to this one. But she called her out on top of that, saying that she shouldn't be considered to be the Bayonetta, that she's the real Bayonetta, and to her that Jennifer Hale should not, you know, think that she is filling the place of her. And in my mind, I was like, okay, that's kind of a weird shot to take, you know. Of course she's going to. I mean, why would you care to the point that she would want, that she is going to say, or that she is going to claim that she was the voice when she was the voice, but just maybe not the original voice, you know. But anyways, I digress. So when that all said and done, people were like, boycott Bayonetta, and stuff. They were going through the marches of stuff like this, which I really kind of think that it actually helped the sales of the game, which is actually kind of funny to me. But on Monday, like when I was going through this, I'm going to do this in 2 different ways. I'm going to do this in 2 different factions. What I initially thought, and then what ended up happening later on. I initially thought when this happened, in my own personal opinion, when this happened, before we got more of the information of more of the story, I thought that, yeah, I'm glad that she said no to a $4,000 pay for this. I mean, to be the star of a game series, it's $4,000 with the information that I knew at the time. Yeah, good for her that she didn't take it. But this is a giant but. I don't think it was in her right to really say that she should have asked people to boycott because she isn't in it. Because the way I look at it is that she was doing a job. She did a job. She gave Bayonetta the personality, but she wasn't the only person that made Bayonetta. I mean, there's a lot of other people that were in charge, like, you know, developers and stuff like that. And I think it was a little superficial of her to kind of try to kind of put her fans to automatically go against the game because you didn't get a good payday. If that's the case, that means a lot of different situations could have said the same thing, and I wasn't on board with that. I said, like, so when someone asked me, like, are you still gonna get the game? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to get the game. It's like, it sucks it happened to her, but it's not like an Activision Blizzard situation, you know, where it was a very toxic environment and that made me boycott the whole brand of everything, you know. So no, I mean, I'm gonna go with it. So that's where I stood. But then, like 2 days later, I believe it was on Wednesday, Jason Schreier, I think you've interviewed Jason Schreier before, Smitty, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Jason Schreier, and he is a smart son of a bitch, dude. He's
very connected within video games and all that stuff.
Yeah, and he's also is about a dude about like getting what you're paid is what you're due, what's due. So he's an advocate for that stuff. He wrote in a Bloomberg article that he reached out to Platinum Games. They have documental proof that what she was saying was a lie, essentially. So she was saying that so what the proof said was that hold on, let me roll it down. That Platinum Games was offering her $3,000 to $4,000 per 5 sessions of voice acting for 4 hour days, which is over $1,000. I guess really over $1,000 for each an hour. For 5 sessions, and they were going to charge. So the range is not $4,000; it was going to be $15,000 to $20,000 for that, which was like, I don't know the pay scale. I mean, because I'm not really in that business, but that's
great. From somebody who, that's really good. That's good.
Yeah, but it's more tolerable. It's more understanding that it's like, okay, that's a job. I can kind of see that makes more sense. But then now this is where you can kind of say if she did or if she didn't say it, because it's not really, you know, quoted and stuff. But Platinum Games is claiming that she said she came back to Platinum saying that she wanted a 6-figure income with reparations for the next game.
You said reparations. Whoa, take it easy.
Not reparation. Yeah.
Residuals.
Residual. That's reparation. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Residuals. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. The residuals of this game itself. So like, we can't. I can't prove it. That's a matter of a he said she said kind of situation. So I'll leave that to whatever kind of grain of salt that's going to be. So they also offered her a guest role spot that they were going to pay her $4,000 for, which she did decline. And but she also is claiming that what was being told was completely not true, and she just wants to get it over it. Ever since then, she's been pretty much in the dark. So essentially, people are kind of backpedaling on what they were saying because of the more information that did come out and stuff. And to me, I was like, this makes more sense because not only that, but to say that they got Jennifer Hale, because Jennifer Hale is a big powerhouse in.
She ain't gonna be cheap. To
say that if they're going to give her $4,000 and then they're saying if that was her max and then they're going to give Jennifer Hale something else, it's clearly was going to be higher. And on top of that, she and her are both in the same union. So like it doesn't make a lick of sense on how things like that was going to how all that was going into making sense. So essentially, People are saying that she's the Helena Taylor's lying. I'm saying personally, I said I didn't care. I think that her attitude towards the game is already going to be messed up. But to say that you're going to boycott when you're trying to tell people to boycott this game, I think that's when you really kind of messed up, because I think you're talking you think that you're the hot shit too much to think that that would, if you leave, then the franchise is screwed. That whole thing. No, you're perfectly. It's perfectly it would have been perfectly messed up if that was true. You were in your well right to be pissed about that, and I think it was, and it's really it was really screwed up for Platinum Games to offer if that was true. But to tell everyone, oh no, don't do it because I'm in it. No, that's kind of feeding more on that ego. So kind of want to get what y'all's takes are on this. So what y'all think about all this that was going on?
I'll let Smitty go first.
Oh, yay. There's a lot to unpack here. I remember when first hearing about that. Number one, first lesson here. This is the reason why when people put stuff out on social media, you don't just jump at it and push it out. Number one, as a journalist. Number two, just as people. There's always multiple sides to everything, especially when it's involved with this. As an actor, to make a move like this, that is career suicide. Okay? Yeah. Nobody is going to want to work with a person like this. So to make claims like that, either one, you have very legitimate claims here, or two, what it's seeming like and what the evidence is pointing to is that this woman was just talking out of her ass and misconstrued. This is and I am very much a believer in knowing your own value and knowing your worth. Her worth to her was not the same valuation that Platinum Games has for her. That's still, as voice actors, because again, there is a difference between an actor's salary and this is where there is some truth to what she is saying here. Number one, how the hell are they not getting residuals? Because they are a part of the identity of these characters, of these games. This is what keeps people connected and bringing people back. So that, to me, is a legitimate issue that needs to get resolved. And they have a union. The union should be pushing for that, for residuals, for some sort of continued payment. Clearly,
residuals work a little bit differently in the gaming industry, because I don't think I think it's uncommon for folks to get residuals for a role in the gaming side.
I know that, but I'm saying it shouldn't be, though. That's what I'm saying. It should not be. These franchises are making millions upon millions of dollars, and part of an actor's performance is literally the identity of that game. That is the reason why people come back and this and that. I mean, just like films, just like commercials, you'll get residuals for commercials. I don't see why it would be any different for the video game industry. I think it's something that needs to happen within the video game industry, because voice actors I feel like they're more taken advantage of, and they're seen as less than somebody that is playing a physical person, on the screen. It is no difference. It is the same level of acting, but it's even more pieces that are moving and shit like that. So I feel like the role of the actor, I won't even say voice actor, the actor, it should match what IRL shit is happening and whatnot as well. So I do personally feel that is problematic and an issue that should be looked at and changed. You know what I mean? Just with the times. I just feel like it needs some updating. However, how Helena presented this was super, like, if again, these statements are true, and I know, I've talked with Jason, and he's a respected journalist in the video game space. I think it's I can't even remember who he's with.
Well, he's a freelancer.
Is he freelance? I thought he was with no. He's with it.
I thought he was freelance.
He was with Kinda Funny for a little bit, but he was still freelancing even with Kinda Funny.
Wait, no. He was with Kinda Funny?
Well, for a little bit. He was, okay, so he was originally with Kotaku for a long time.
Right.
And then he left Kotaku.
Okay.
He left Kotaku, and then he was doing stints on his own for his own thing because he was doing
Okay.
video game work for himself for
So
a long period of time.
I
But
think he
during
was
that time,
still with
he was also
Kotaku.
freelancing.
Oh, I get. Yeah. I think he was with Kotaku when we spoke with him. The other thing, though, too, is that this puts Jennifer in a terrible situation, in a terrible spot. Absolutely, because number one, now she's got to say something. Why make this situation like, as actors, like you are now working towards this thing not to be successful. It's one thing, hey, you said you want this, they said we'll give you this, you decide to decline, but you don't then get to say, wait a second, I declined, no one else should take this role because this is me. That is a selfish ass move. That is, and that's why she is going to be blacklisted, because that showed everything I feel personally about her character and who she is, and people don't want to work with somebody that's going to be like that, because if she's going to do it on this, then there's what's saying that she won't do it with something else. No one's going to have time for that shit. There are plenty of fantastic actors that are out there that are willing to fill that role. And Jennifer Hale I've interviewed her multiple times. She is a fantastic person. And I thought her response was so professionally just like, yo, I can't say anything, but you know what I mean? Like, this ain't the place for it. You know what I'm saying? She said it in the most like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what are you doing? So I guarantee even, and again, I'm not going to speak for anybody, but like emotionally as a person, that would have an effect on you. This is somebody that is in your field, in your craft, that is saying, boycott this thing, and you should know better that you're not me. This person can only be me. It's like, ooh, excuse you, Miss Ego. Like,
Ego. That's
a
lot of ego talking in itself, and that's what really kind of rubbed me the wrong way towards this. And when I heard about this, and
it was deceptive.
About this initially, yeah, very much.
It was deceptive to outwardly be like, boycott this game. Like, that was a selfish move, and it was deceptive on how they did that. And that really tested. That was almost like a social experiment to me. How many people jumped on that and was like, oh, you know, you know, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a second. The actual offer, according to actual sources and whatnot, is that they offered her more, and she didn't want to, you know, this is what she valued this stuff at. And then they even came back and said, look, you know, we've moved on, but we'd love to give you a cameo, come in for a session. And at that point, she was just like, ugh, how dare you? How dare you even offer me that garbage? That was an ego move from the get-go, and that's what this seems like. But she ruined her career over her ego.
Right. Lex, what were you going to say?
I have a lot to say. Okay, so Helena murder-suicide to her career. Just saying. I did like Hale's response to it, basically stating like, hey, look, I'm under an NDA. I think everyone deserves the right to be paid for what they be paid properly, right? And my reputation speaks for itself. Literally perfect. Love it. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Now, to put some perspective on things. So royalties in music is not the same verbiage that they use for voice actors. Now, a lot of times voice actors will get reparations if they sign the new contract. Okay. So that's what happens. Now, if you're like, well, how much do voice actors make? Great question. Current. So if you do a radio spot, $250 to $350. TV commercials are 100 to about 10,000, depending on, you know, who you are as an actor. Audiobooks, 2,000 to 5,000. Video games are about 200 to 350 an hour. Starring role in an animated feature film is about $10,000. Just to put things into perspective. So she was being paid for that amount. And you also have to remember, they'll say, okay, we're going to pay you, $4,000 for about 5 hours in multiple sessions. And that's what we're going to run with. But they always bring you back to do like extra sound effects and things like that, right? And they will pay you what they paid you previously, if not boost it, a couple $100 more, because you had to come in outside of the schedule that was predetermined. Okay. So was she going to get paid the proper amount? Yes. This makes me so mad. As somebody who did voice acting on animated series, I would go in for 30 minutes to an hour session, and I could make anywhere from $500 to $800. And I went in, I did a lot of like underlying sound effects. I did singing, which gets paid more. If you can sing, you do get paid more as a voice actor because they don't have to find a voice double for you. I did voice doubles. I got paid triple the amount. So for 30 minutes, I'd get paid $800. If I went in for a few hours and let's say I was doing,
I mean, like overall throughout all of this, I mean, yeah, I understand that you're saying like how rates and stuff is going. I mean, but like, I guess kind of stick to the point here.
Yeah, no, I think it's BS. I think what she did was murder suicide, and I agree with Smitty. It was a social experiment. I think people jump on bandwagons way too often. I think we should cancel these people, but nobody's showing you hard facts. It's just coming from somebody's mouth that they feel a certain way, and that's great and fine. You can feel however you want to feel that you didn't take on this job, but that's not the new voice actor's problem. First off, she should have never called Jennifer Hale out. She's a fantastic woman in and out of her work. It's just, to me, that's so frustrating. Like, how big of an ego do you have to think that you are bigger than the character itself, right? Like, that's how it came off. And that's what irritated me probably the most, is besides the fact that she was getting paid more than fairly.
Right.
I think my biggest issue towards this, yeah, but like, I mean, the thing that kind of gets to me is the fact that, dude, it takes a village to make a game, is where it comes down to me, and
right.
I think it's insulting that, like, I'm not saying that the
I am Bayonetta. No, you're not.
Yeah, the piece that she that she contributed to making Bayonetta is not maybe an important piece and maybe a front looking piece, right? But that's not. It's still just a piece, is what I'm saying.
Right. No, and I absolutely agree. I 100% agree.
That's why when she came off, and then when she said to to boycott it and send it to charity, I'm like, you know what? There's reasons to boycott things.
Seriously.
And you know what? And you know what? And to anyone's credit, if people are not going to play this game because of this, because to be mad, that's y'all's prerogative on that. I'm not judging y'all for it. But right. I'm saying what
I'll judge you. You're a dummy.
Well, I'm just saying the fact that, hey, you know what? But that the difference is, if they decided to do it, they decided to do it. Not right. the lead person creating it is asking for that said boycott because she is not in it. You know what right. this kind of you know what this example is? It's kind of like what's it called? You remember in Iron Man, the first Iron Man, Terrence Howard was paid more money than Robert Downey Jr. in the first Iron Man, because this was because Robert Downey was on a downhill.
He was at rock bottom at that point.
Yeah, he was at rock bottom.
I was rooting for him.
Then when Iron Man 2 came out, because Iron Man 1 was super successful, they gave him a giant payday because of because he was the main person. He may have in the back end, we don't know how much he asked for or whatever, how much he was wanting, but because of that, Terrence Howard was upset that he was not getting paid getting that kind of level of upgrade. So then he decides, I'm not going to play Rhodey anymore. Instead, they got Don Cheadle to do it,
which is better anyways.
So, yeah. So essentially, are you saying that Terrence Howard should have went on Twitter, said, hey, they only decided to pay me so-and-so $1 million instead of the so-and-so million that I asked for? You should boycott this movie because they did me this inservice of not paying me for this. It's like, no. You absolutely cannot, I mean,
he shut the hell up and kept it moving.
Yeah, just keep on moving. And here's the more infuriating thing about this. This is the only role Helena Taylor has done in voice acting.
She's really
doing this.
She's not a Tara Strong.
In 12 years, she's only done Bayonetta. All she does is she's mostly known for her theater work. That's what she's known for.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, what kind of so maybe she doesn't know how the game works in voice acting overall, but then again, that's still no excuse to be acting a fool the way you're acting, you know?
No, dude, I've met people like this. I have met and worked with people that are like this, that see themselves as this conflated thing. They see themselves from a third person view, and I can't relate to that.
Very skewed,
but it is very skewed from what the reality of the matter is. Again, I do feel that there is there's definitely some validity to some of the things that she's saying. I definitely feel that there's more they can do, especially for voice actors that are working in the video game space. But how that was presented and it's crazy, man.
It's just felt all ego.
This is all ego. That's what I was gonna say. This is literally somebody like we literally watched somebody burn a bridge. You know what I mean? Like to everybody to their career. And I don't know if that will then cross over too into her theater work or if that's the case. And I imagine if that is like. That's something I imagine that doesn't just go away. So she probably has that sort of conflated sense of herself. Possibly. Again, this is just, I'm just talking out of my ass here. But that is something that possibly could extend to there too. If you have that much of this in this space and this is the only character you have done. I can't even imagine. Jennifer Hale has the Guinness Book of World Records for most voice acting characters. What, dude? Like, how dare you? How dare you?
It's like not even 9-day difference. Not even that.
And she plays one of like the best mom acting roles ever. But no, I agree. She nuked herself, and here's the kicker: her management's probably not sticking with her after that. Absolutely not. You know what I mean? So of course she's and theater does not pay that well. So
who knows what's going to happen? I mean, there is definitely a conversation that should be told about residuals for certain things, but yeah, that should be like an easy common sense move. But you know how people in money work, so who knows? We'll see how that goes in the future. But as for Helena Taylor, I think that this backfired on boycotting. I'm glad it did. In fact, I think it pushed Bayonetta 3 is one of the top 5 games that were reserved now on Amazon, which is crazy to me. This game is not even really has a AAA budget, and I think it's already going to have some good numbers because of all this craziness that happened in less than a week before the game comes out. So we'll see how this all goes, and hopefully see where it's gonna be. So Lex.
So a lot of people have hit me up in the last 2 weeks and said, "Oh, are you going to play Scorn? Are you going to play Scorn? Other people are playing Scorn, and you like spooky stuff. Are you going to play Scorn?" Now, I had looked at it, and I watched a lot of trailers for it, and I was confused about some things. And so I was like, I'm going to give it a week. I'm going to read some non-spoiler reviews, and then I will decide. I'm glad I did, and I'll tell you why. Because the author of this article very much is similar to me in a lot of things, but the way he describes things is hysterical. A couple hours in, it's what it feels. I'm just a guy clocking in at HR Geiger and Sons to hit buttons, stick my fingers into prehensile holes, and scoop the innards out of screaming human meat things. Just all in a day's work for a blue-collar working stiff like me. And I felt from watching what I did watch, there wasn't a lot of direction. And I don't do well with meaty scenarios where it's like, you look like you're inside of somebody's body walking around on a ship, maybe, and you're not telling me where to go and the puzzles look very obtuse, and again, not a lot of direction, not much instruction. And for somebody like me who doesn't see well sometimes in games, things are a little too dark. I can't see where to hide, so on and so forth. That runs me into a wall of frustration, and I immediately want to stop. Now, the author of this article does have misophonia, which is basically they can't stand the way certain sounds sound. So sometimes people have it with hearing other people chewing or splat noises. I have a friend who has misophonia and can't watch horror movies because of like how wet things sometimes sound, in the most PG way to say that. And the way they were just describing, and they, at one point they said they're not even giving us a menace like in Amnesia. I did not like Amnesia, and everyone thought I would absolutely adore it. Hated the series. I'm so sorry. If you thought more of me before that statement, I apologize, but also shut the hell up and get out. No, but I genuinely, I'm glad that I didn't jump in because I would have been so lost. There's just not a lot of, there's not a lot of direction, and there's not a lot of voiceover, which I get it could take away from something like that. And if you enjoy the game, more power to you. But I love puzzles, but if the puzzles don't make sense, I can't puzzle the puzzle. You know what I'm saying? And so for something that was hyped up to be something that I don't think it is, I was curious what you two thought.
Let me ask a question. Actually,
sure. Go ahead.
Can you give us like a general synopsis of what? Because like these games aren't my thing at all. So I haven't I knew people were hyped about this game. I just don't know why people were hyped about the game.
I don't know either. To be quite honest, I think it was because of the visuals. It basically okay. So from. And here, even better, I'll read from him. The game throws you into the flesh pit with bare bones UI that only appears when you're holding a weapon or interacting with a device. No voiceover, no hints, nothing. You are basically inside of what looks like a rotting whale carcass, but it's supposed to be a ship. And you're supposed to figure out these puzzles, but you are not given a weapon. At least not right away. And then you were just supposed to take it, which we all know I hate that in games. If I can't fight back, what's the point of being here, right? But honestly, the trailers and the gameplay that you can see like before you purchase a game, like on Steam, I kind of looked up those because the trailer makes it seem like you're in a world where it's fleshy and you stick your fingers in holes and things happen and you have to solve puzzles and walk around and it's gonna be scary. I didn't see one single jump scare. The trailer didn't scare me. It just looked gross. So kind of from what I gathered, oh gosh, what's the last game? We all played it too.
Evil Dead?
Nope.
Phasmophobia?
No. Less scary, more you're the bad and you're killing things that are fleshy and gross. Oh God.
Outriders?
No, I'm
Returnal?
sorry. I'll stop. Nope. It just looked really fleshy, like very. How do I explain it? Like it looks like you're inside of a carcass.
The game looks really weird. I mean, like I just didn't like when I looked at it. It didn't look like it was horror, but more like it was just like a live animated version of of Geiger's art in a better sense.
That's what it is.
In a better sense of
Doom. That's the game
term.
I'm thinking. Very
Doom?
fleshy, like at points in Doom where it's like super gross and fleshy looking. And like there's wires, but they're not wires. They look like organs. That's kind of the feel that you get.
So just the sound effects alone will probably just I'm not really freak me out, but just it sounds disgusting,
Yeah, it's meant to. That's where the unease is supposed to come from, and that's great and all. But if there's not a big bad that's following me through said plot, what's going to scare me, right? The whole point of playing a horror game is to get spooked. But if there's no spooks to spook me, then what are we doing here, right?
Scorn, the ASMR experience.
Basically. And look, the guy has misophonia and he's saying the sounds, like, the audio sounds great, doesn't trigger me in any way. So points for that. But there was no direction. And that's where I felt, because the trailer and then the gameplays that I watched, I was like, did they cut the audio? And I thought that for the first good 30 seconds, like they're walking around, I'm not really hearing audio. And I turned my speakers all the way up and I'm like, where? So this person's looking for a puzzle, I assume, to solve, but where are they going? And they're turning around multiple times, like they're confused as to where they're going. And that doesn't work well for me. I need to have some form of direction.
Dust is saying game is horribly short. They cut off tons of planned features, and they cut out all the pre-advertised choice matters mechanics. So basically, they took out the game. I mean, that's what it sounds like. They made the shell of an experience to something completely different.
Yeah,
I mean, but it's hard to say to see what. I never saw the alpha of this, so I don't know if it's going to be like a night and day difference, like Skull and Bones is going to be,
Yeah.
So who knows?
And again, go ahead, Smitty. Sorry.
So, and again, this is somebody that is not very knowledgeable on this at all. So, I mean, this sounds almost like a case, and when you guys put that information out there as well, it sounds like, number one, it touted stuff that they end up taking out of it before releasing. But it also sounds like, too, that they built a game that people didn't realize it was going to be that, which sounds also kind of like a marketing thing.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people are expecting one thing, but then it's this. But the other thing, too, is I mean, maybe it was intentional for them, because there are some games that don't just feed things to players. And I agree with you, Lex. Those aren't really my type of games either, especially in some sort of setting like this where it's, you know what I mean, like, gonna be squishy and weird. Like, I don't want it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it.
But it's so slow, though. That's my problem. It's
that's why I didn't like Amnesia.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, that's seems to be what the intention was, but that intention was not conveyed to the audience. So the audience had a very different idea of what the game was versus what the game actually is. And I think there's going to be some people that have that kind of appreciation for that as well. It you know, again, this seems like a very niche already game in itself. So I mean, for me, I'm just like, I don't even know. Like, I don't like puzzles are cool, but like, I don't need crazy puzzles in games. Dude, like, don't do that. Like, I want a story, and that's just me. But I want some action. I want to be able to go
like puzzles. And if you're gonna give me less story and more puzzles, okay, but make it make sense. What is the reason that I'm doing these puzzles? You know what I mean?
But what if the end game? What if the end game hits, and that's where it all comes together?
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Now, but why? Is that based off of like, because I imagine people have already beaten this and put out reviews and stuff like that.
Did Dust play? Wait, did Dust play it? Because that's not because it seemed like
no, he didn't.
Oh, because it sounded like he did.
He didn't seem very interested in it.
Yeah,
I brought it up and he was like, I have played puzzle games that and what are they called? Like Limbo and Inside that don't really have a storyline, right? But they're not slow. And you know, you kind of get this groove, and like you do hit a frustration wall a couple times at some point. You know, everybody does different puzzles better than somebody else, right? And so not every puzzle is for that person, and it might take you a little longer. But for Amnesia, and I'm trying to think. I don't know if I played I think it was oh balls. Amnesia. Okay, if there was a storyline, I didn't get it. The guy was talking a lot. I was reading a lot of stuff, and I kept catching myself. I was like, what did that guy just say? And I would play it again. I'm like, I missed it again. I'm not retaining any information. I feel like I'm in psychology class in college again, and I have just tuned out. Right. And so that's what this seemed to me. And that was before any reviews came out. Now, I have read some other reviews, and it's kind of leading me to believe that, there's not going to be that big boom at the end of plotline, and this is why you did it, and Merry Christmas, you win, right? And I'm just, again, and if you like this type of game, great, more power to you. I love puzzles. I don't need a lot of plot, but if there's no direction and I don't know what I'm doing and where I'm going, that's where I have an issue. Do you know what I mean?
I think too, though, we also have to remember we live in a different world to where I don't know that this necessarily would hit as much streaming it as opposed to playing it offline at, just yourself. I imagine that it would be two very different experiences. And because there's always, at least for me, I feel like there's that pressure of like, gosh, damn, dude, like this is a little slow. Like, you guys all right in there? And like,
right.
Like, at least that's just me.
Concentrating real quiet here for
a minute. Well, that's why I love being able to play games offline too, because like I don't sit there and just talk continuously while I play games. That's not realistic. If you guys think that's what I do in real life, I don't, dude. I don't say anything
I'm
usually.
Real quiet in my office.
Or sometimes I'm like, oh snap, son. That does happen.
Yeah. No, I tried playing Amnesia. I tried playing Amnesia offline because I thought maybe that's what was the experience that I was having. And that's why I wasn't retaining information, because I felt like I needed to read chat and check in with people. Nope. Same thing offline too. And I was also with Amnesia, the way that it was set up and the way this is, the color schemes are very similar with like the dark red tones. If there's more than just black and white tones, I can't see very well. And for somebody who is a disabled gamer and loves to play certain things, like this should be up my alley. I'm not going to be able to see well, even if, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's where, oh man, I'm just a little sad. I was waiting and hoping that there was going to be some really good info that came out like, oh, you missed out, you should play it, Nope. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's spooky season. I'm a little disappointed, but it happens. I got faith.
Right.
The game.
It's true.
Not real faith. I gave up on life a long time ago.
Oh, well, happy birthday to you too. Jesus.
Thank you.
Smitty.
Oh, yes. Please. Oh, all right. Yep. And to finish off with some even sadder news. Sadder news, but news that we all saw coming. G4 Comcast has officially put the axe to G4 TV. It is no longer going to be a thing, and we should have known, dude. Huh?
Not even a year.
Not even a year. But here's the deal, and this is what I feel.
Back, right?
It was brought back. It ended back in 2012, I believe, and they brought it back here less than a year ago. And my biggest thing in terms of this, and this is especially when it comes to like big broadcast and what they're trying to do, it's very much trying to play on nostalgia and stuff like that. The thing that they don't realize is nostalgia is not the only key, and definitely it is a good like, oh that's nice, but you have to have a solid framework.
Base.
And they just didn't. What is different from what they're doing that I couldn't get here on CFG Games? The quality is the same. There's nothing different. I can go on YouTube and find all kinds of people that are doing the same things that they're doing, and I don't have to go there. This is just, I feel like this very much is just that weird spot where video game streaming, content creation, all that stuff currently is in right now. You've got people with money wanting to invest, but they don't really know what to do with it. So they throw a bunch of ducats at it, like we'll just toss it, we'll spray it with money, and they had whole crews and researchers. Like I would love to have that, dude. Like we would do all kinds of shit if I had to be, you know what I mean? Like we just had people just feeding us information, and we could just focus on like I'd be doing all kinds of things, as you know what I mean? Like even singularly or us as a group. So and again, and I don't laugh because at any point in time, anybody losing jobs within that, because it's not only people that were in front of the camera, but also the folks that were behind the camera as well are now unemployed. So this is, you never want to see something like that happen or people losing their jobs. I know there's a lot of people too, especially on the internet, they're saying, oh, this is because of Frost grant and this and that, and like, whatever, however you feel about that. Huh?
Yeah.
What is Frost grant?
The Frost grant. So what happened was like in, I want to say March or April or whatever. So this is like when G4 was kind of starting to get its stride. What happened was that Frost got into a rant about being a woman in gaming, essentially.
This
and then
is a
how
streamer?
and the toxicity that females have in the middle, like in the middle of it. But for some reason it was viewed incredibly negatively, and there was and since that time viewership was on a downward slide. So it was so most people are saying that they were both they're kind of they're pointing a blame of like saying the time when people were kind of getting tired of G4 was that point in time, was because when Frost did that, which is, it just doesn't make, I mean, it really doesn't make any sense to me on why or what, how or what she was talking about, because most of it was pretty much truth about her truth about what it was, and then but apparently people were seeing really negatively on it. So who knows?
I mean, there's a lot of sexism in gaming, but I've always felt like you guys have had my back. You know what I mean? Like,
and that is it is a very true statement. But number one, I mean, I feel like especially for a broadcast, you are literally attacking your audience. And I don't mean that means that like these people are out there doing stuff and being assholes and stuff like that. But like some of the things that she said directly, huh?
Well, she see, I never.
She was just like, I mean, she literally was like. Broad. No. She was like, if you guys don't like it, then you don't have to watch it. Peace. And stuff like that. Like she was, yes, dude. Like she was like, so not only that, but she antagonized it on social media and stuff like that too. Like this was, dude, I've been following this stuff for a bit. So that was a whole thing. And like immediately, I mean, saying that, and you're saying that directly to your audience that took the time to do that. You know what I mean? Like, and you could tell it felt like some of the people were like, I didn't know this was gonna happen. Like Gerard, the completionist, seemed very just like whatnot. And then even when people got fired, like we talked about before, and people got laid off, and then she sent out the meme, "Oh, I'm still here. Who wants the game?" You know what I mean? Like. I mean, it was going to be inevitable that G4 was not going to last in this world, in how much content we have available to us. Unless you're doing something, it's not groundbreaking like it was when it originally came out. You can get that stuff everywhere, and they did not push it enough. Not only that, but they just made fundamental mistakes, like getting Amaranth on, but they were paying like $25,000 to $30,000 for a 1-day session guest star or whatever. Like I would take that bag in a heartbeat for sure, but that's not what was gonna keep it going. They just didn't. They tried to play too much on the nostalgia, is how I feel, and it was doomed from the get-go if that was the master plan. So again, a good attempt, and there's a lot of good people that were working on that show. But yeah, that, like, besides the point of that, whether that happened or not, and that's a whole other thing, a whole other conversation, I felt like the show wasn't going to last. And we keep seeing these little investments and these little things within the video game sector. I very much feel that this is where it's almost like that oil and water effect, where business and video games are meeting, but they're not meshing cohesively, and people are trying to throw money into it to make it mesh, and it don't work that way. So people are still trying to figure it out and what kind of model and what exactly is going to work. But if they got the money, they will toss the money at it. But I felt like this was doomed from the start.
You were going to say something, Lexi. What were we going to say?
So was Frost's okay? Because, you know, a lot of women joke like, oh, it's all men, but it really isn't all men kind of scenario in other world types of information. She was just straight blaming everybody kind of thing.
Well, I think she had the attitude of saying that like there's a difference between like saying like you're blaming a part of the community, but the type in the community. You're not full-fledged pointing a finger and saying like if you don't like what if I tell you if you don't like what I hear, then you can just get out. I'm not saying your name directly, but I'm talking to you.
She literally said, "I can see you guys in chat."
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're going to go straight broad like that, and you're going to tell you're essentially, it could be misconstrued about like saying, is she talking to me about me, like about
right.
me, all freaking people are. That I can understand why people would be kind of pissed off on that a little bit. It's like, wow, it's like I haven't do anything. I'm wanting to support this, and this person's telling me to stop watching.
Right.
If I don't like, had that weird.
It was just weird,
like, you know. Yeah. It just wasn't the right.
It wasn't weird because what she was saying was valid things. Yeah. But it's just like but why would you do that to your audience, the people that are here supporting you? Like, it felt unwarranted. There wasn't a specific thing.
Yeah, something had to have set her off.
Well, see, I feel like it was more if somebody saw a chance to be able to get on a soapbox. She talked about it directly, saying that she got it approved by the execs and stuff like that. They originally put out things saying that they support it and whatnot, but then later on, retroactively deleted the stuff.
But the way it was
weird
because she was supposed to talk about something completely different. She was supposed to talk about a game,
right?
For what it is, like itself, right? Like it was.
Hence why Gerard had to face it.
It was something completely that was like, oh, I was going to talk about God of War, but like,
hold up,
basically, you know. Like,
she Kanye West it.
Yeah, essentially. So I understand, but I'm not going to put the point to blame on Frost on that. That's just whatever internet opinions are.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, no, she had nothing to do.
I think overall it was just how it was like you're exactly what you were saying, Smitty, about like how they were throwing the money, like they were just throwing money at the wall of this. They had a big daddy spender, and then the big daddy spender said, "I can't spend any more on you because I'm not seeing any good comeback on what I'm back on my investment." They averaged
1,000 viewers.
That's not good.
That's not good at all. You ain't going. Number one, you're not making anything in ad revenue. You're not being able to get sponsorships and things like that. Like they had no way to pay the salaries of the people because they were doing exorbitant salaries on some of that stuff. It sounded like too. So it's like
a situation where too that you're during the pandemic, so it wasn't like you were able to make events and stuff to kind of push the hype up. To your community and to get the word out and stuff. Like if like for instance, like if E3 existed, came out and stuff, that you don't think that G4 would have put some money in on that to kind of be like to make a big presence at G4 or at E3?
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of situations were not really presented to them also at that time, but still like they were big spending. They were big time.
Yeah. People don't know what to do. People don't know what to do in the space, what to do with it. They know it's there. They know there's money there. They just don't know how to execute something that people are going to be like, yeah, this is genuine, because that was not genuine. They didn't feel genuine in terms of that. Again, I don't mean that the people weren't genuine or any of that stuff. I meant the concept of the show, which is basically trying to what's the phrase that they use? Something about recreating magic or something like that. You know, you had that and you try to do the same thing again. There's a term for it, but it wasn't the same thing.
Old magic.
Yeah, exactly. And it just wasn't there. So from the jump off, the concept was flawed. I feel like, and you see this in a lot of other cases too, where people lean super heavy into the nostalgia. And they just think that the nostalgia is going to be and that may get people to go and purchase or try it out or whatever, but there's no sustainability in it. Exactly. Right. You're not thinking long game and what you can do and build off of that.
And I think people also have to remember too, like the 2012 space is not the space we're in now, right?
Right.
And so a G4 channel back then was monumental for a lot of us gamers, whereas now it's like, well, I can just go watch my friend on Twitch who who talks to me the whole time, and we have great conversation, and I watch all the games that they play, and I really enjoy them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's why a lot of companies who do kind of something similar, like Greg Miller and them, they still stream, and they have their YouTube content. They do stream on Twitch, stuff like that, but they're not trying to make something more than the space that they know that they are in and what is working for them.
I don't know. That's a little different, because like Greg Miller knows how to market himself.
He's fantastic. But I don't think he's making money moves that he knows he can't stand in for a long time. Does that make sense?
This guy rolls on just donations, and the donations that he's getting, like just last week they opened up a brand new studio, which looks amazing, called The Spare Bedroom, which you should definitely go check that out on YouTube. And they did a 24-hour stream, and they got almost $80,000 in just a 24-hour stream.
Right.
That was meant specifically for them. It wasn't for charity. It wasn't for anything else. It was specifically for Kind of Funny. Well, so I'm just saying.
And look, I'm not saying that he couldn't make, a channel on cable TV that couldn't last, but I don't think he's trying to recreate something that he already has. Does that make sense? And I think G4, like, it was a great idea. It worked well back then, but if you were going to do something with that now, you would have to make it different. You can't roll with the old magic.
They should have been a network, like an actual legitimate network.
Well,
that's how they should have done it.
I don't think network would have even been successful for them.
It could have. Again, I totally believe that it can. Even with the experiment that was Mishmash, because I've thought about this extensively, and having different people, but it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't sustainable because you have to have mods. There's a lot of behind the scene things that have to happen in order to do that. Then you're talking about all kinds of different schedules and for streamers and stuff like that too. But I do believe that is something that could be done, and you can even start merging things or this and that. But I feel like that could be a successful model if you have the money to be able to execute a production like that. Again, being able to actually pay people for what they're doing, as opposed to it being a fan funded type of thing. I couldn't even, like, again, I'm always like, I'm weird about that stuff, and like getting money from people, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, I got a job, like, you don't have well, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't have to do that. But I get it.
Like how Mishmash is a little is different itself, but like I think the thing that really killed G4 was that they didn't really diversify, like their main focus.
And diversify their bonds.
They did actually G4 TV actually was a TV station that some of their stuff that they did post on their thing on Twitch was showing on air on their own specific station. So they did that individually, but I think what it was is that their format was too much on the streaming side, in my opinion. Like I think like they diversified it into, let's say, YouTube, like a YouTube something specifically for YouTube, like
pre-recorded content and stuff like that as well. Yeah, exactly.
RSS feed itself to like put their podcast episodes of Attack on the Show could literally be done in podcast form.
Right.
There's no reason why it should be fully live. Or X-Play could have been done, because Adam Sessler is
it doesn't need to be
content creator and stuff like that. There's so many different kinds of things they could have done, and neither would have, should have. But I'm just saying that like I thought that the overall format of G4 TV, you're right, it was very stale in its point, but like so it sucks to see them, like, I really still feel sorry. I won't say I don't feel sorry for some people, but I do feel sorry for some people more than others. Like you're saying, people off camera are the ones that are going to probably be affected by this quite strongly. But most of the people, like, Gerard and stuff, I think they'll be okay. They already got their.
I think a lot of the people will be okay in the long run. They're very talented people that are working on that stuff. It just sucks to be put in that position. You know what I mean, and have to go through that. You put your all in, and to be like, oh damn, dude, that's a wrap. I guess I feel for that for sure.
Yeah. But I always say, talented people get, put in things real quickly.
Yeah.
If you're a hot commodity, man, people are going to snatch you up real quick.
Right.
Be good at what you're good at, and don't worry and just kind of go with the flow, and, life will throw you something,
Yeah.
Always. So.
There you go. Well, folks, thank you for listening to episode number 153 of the CFG Game Cast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation, as always. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. Lex will be away next week, but we will have a special guest on for next week as well. So definitely stay tuned on that. It's going to be pretty fun. But if you did miss this episode, that is perfectly all right. You can go check us out on any podcast services at the beginning of each and every week. We like to publish these out at 6 a.m. Pacific time on Mondays every week. So on all podcast services. So there's absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Guys, we'll be back again, and also we're going to be doing a special Ghostbusters stream tonight. Hopefully, if we can get Smitty working correctly,
we'll get it working.
Oh my God, yeah, working, but definitely stay tuned on that on this channel, or Smitty 2447, or This Is Lex on Twitch. So
it's going down.
Again, this is Davis, Lex, and Smitty signing off. Y'all, take it easy.
Bye.